For decades, crossing the US border was effortless for Canadians. A quick smile, a passport, and you were through. It felt routine, almost neighborly, but in 2025, that sense of ease is disappearing fast. Washington has rolled out new requirements, and perhaps more unsettling, begun enforcing old ones with new intensity. The outcome: ordinary Canadians are being stopped, searched, questioned, and even flagged as foreign nationals if they stay too long. The real problem isn't just the rules, it's the surprise. Most travelers only discover what's changed when they're pulled into secondary inspection. By then, it's too late. The once familiar border now feels unfamiliar, cautious, and cold. And the shift, it's accelerating. Today, we're breaking down 7 US border rules Canadians can't ignore in 2025, and why crossing south has never felt riskier. Keycap 1. The 30-day rule. For years, Canadians could spend entire seasons in the US with little more than a stamp. Snowbirds settled in Florida or Arizona for months, and no one cared. But as of 2025, that era is over. A new Department of Homeland Security regulation requires Canadians who stay longer than 30 consecutive days to officially register with US Immigration. It doesn't matter where you are, once that 30-day line is crossed, you're not just visiting anymore. You're recorded in America's immigration system. And it doesn't end there. You now need to carry proof of that registration at all times. If a border officer asks for it and you can't provide it, expect questioning, fines, or problems re-entering the US later. Officials insist it's about security. Canadians call it what it feels like, a shift from friendship to formality. The message: long stays now come with long strings attached. Keycap 2. Land crossings under scrutiny. For decades, crossing by car felt casual. A quick chat at Buffalo, Detroit, or Vermont, and you were on your way. Not anymore. In 2025, U.S. Customs and Border Protection has made land crossings a top priority. What was once routine now feels intense. Questions once reserved for special cases, about your job, your stay, or your finances, are becoming the norm. Technology is part of it: license plate scanners, new databases, and deeper data sharing with Canada. But politics play a role too, a wave of suspicion that makes every crossing feel like an interrogation. The border hasn't closed, but it's no longer the friendly gate it used to be. Keycap 3. Device searches at the border. Imagine reaching the booth, handing over your passport, and hearing the words, "Unlock your phone." That moment, once rare, is now increasingly common. Between April and June 2025 alone, nearly 15,000 digital devices were searched, a record high. Phones, laptops, tablets, all fair game. Officers can scroll through your photos, messages, emails, even social media. And yes, they can demand your password. Refuse, and you risk being detained or denied entry. Canadian lawyers say protections are minimal. Devices can be held for up to 5 days without any further approval. Ottawa now warns travelers to expect these checks under Trump's renewed border crackdown. Some Canadians who refused device searches have even lost their visa-exempt status. For many, this isn't about privacy anymore. It's about trust, and how quickly it's vanishing. Keycap 4. Hidden data sharing. Some of the biggest border changes aren't visible at all. Behind the scenes, Ottawa and Washington have quietly expanded how much personal data they share. Travel history, immigration records, even application details, all move more freely between both governments. In 2025, new amendments have made this pipeline even stronger. That means if you've ever been flagged in a Canadian system, that information might greet you before you even reach the booth. Privacy experts warn that data collected for one reason, like a job or visa application, can now be repurposed for border screening. The result: a traveler's fate no longer depends solely on what they say at the border, but on a digital file they've never seen, already waiting for them. Keycap 5. Dual citizens under question. For years, dual citizenship was an advantage, a symbol of global freedom. In 2025, it's becoming a liability. Under Washington's new security directives, Canadians with dual nationality, especially from countries on U.S. watch lists, are being pulled aside more often. Longer interviews, extra document checks, even entry refusals. These rules aren't new. What's changed is enforcement, faster, broader, and far less forgiving. In June, the U.S. expanded its travel bans to cover a dozen nations. Canadians aren't targeted directly, but if you hold a second passport from one of those countries, you'll face tougher scrutiny, even if you only present your Canadian passport. For many, what once represented identity and pride now raises suspicion. KeyCap 6 vehicle searches and inspections. Crossing by car used to be stress-free. Now, it's unpredictable. More travelers are being sent to secondary inspection, waiting hours, answering detailed questions about their plans, work, and income. Vehicle searches have surged too. Trunks opened, bags unpacked, even glove compartments checked. And one issue keeps catching Canadians off guard: cannabis. It may be legal in Canada, but it's still illegal under U.S. federal law. Even traces, residue, or scent can trigger a full search, and possibly a denied entry or fine. Officers say it's about law enforcement. Canadians say it feels like harassment. Either way, a drive south in 2025 comes with new risks, and fewer guarantees. KeyCap 7 penalties and turnbacks. The toughest change of all. The consequences: forget to register, refuse a device search, carry the wrong item. Penalties in 2025 are harsher than ever. Being turned back isn't just embarrassing, it's permanent. It can lead to losing your visa-exempt privilege, forcing you to apply for a full U.S. visa next time. Others face expedited removal orders, resulting in travel bans lasting 5 years or more. Even minor mistakes, like forgetting to declare over $10,000 in cash, can trigger fines or long-term flags in the system. At the border, officers hold the power, and travelers have little recourse. One small mistake can turn a casual weekend trip into a multi-year travel nightmare. The border between Canada and the United States has long symbolized trust and friendship. But in 2025, that trust is cracking. Crossing south now feels unpredictable, invasive, and high stakes. For Canadians, the new reality is clear: the days of casual crossings are gone. Speech balloon: have you been stopped, questioned, or searched under these new rules? Share your experience in the comments. Your story might be featured in our next video. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay informed. Clapperboard: this is Pillars of USA, uncovering the truth behind borders, power, and policy.